All right, I think we'll call the meeting to order at 5:33. All stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Jan Cassidy. Here. Michelle Ginn.
Here.
Dan Green absent. Mary Himberg. Here. Sally Lamb. Here. Allison McFadden Kiesling. Here. Marilyn Pomeroy absent. Julie Meredith here.
Okay. Can I have a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented? I think everybody's had a chance to look it over.
I so move.
Second.
Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And our call to the public. And thank you, public.
Easier for Boy Scouts.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to say?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, as you know, the Friends have been very busy. This is a very busy time of year. We've had 2 events just recently. One is our famous chocolate celebration. We had 13 entries, and we basically stopped counting at 70 people coming in. There were a lot of people, and it's just a fun evening. There's no cost to the public. There's no asking for funds or fundraising. It's just a nice, fun time. They sometimes then can see the library in a different light. And we just had a good time. And Don Rush from the newspaper, I think he had the most fun of all. So
He did seem to be enjoying himself.
He really did. And he was breaking in a young reporter who I heard, I think is a neighbor. She's about 8. And she was having a great time also. The first annual Battle of the Books was held. It was a coordinated effort between the library and Sashbaugh Middle School. And the Friends and people from the middle school and our library will be looking at evaluating it as an event in the future and ways to get more students involved, maybe to expand it to other grades, more PR that we can get the public to know about it, and also to define purposes for it. And so that the parents, the community, as well as the kids know what the aims are of this particular battle. When I was the media specialist in Oxford, we did it at 6th grade level and at 4th grade level. And the kids, there are certain kids that this is their niche. So it provides another outlet for middle school kids that hasn't been provided before. As you know, our big spring book sale is coming up the last week of April. There's a sign-up sheet for any of the Friends out there that would like to come and help set up, help during the actual sale, and then also during the takedown. This is one of our 3 major fundraisers, and what I've heard in the past from people that come in, this is one of the nicest used book sales in the area. They come from all over because they like the way it's organized, the way it's run. They like the friendliness of the people, the assistance of the people that are there. So that's a nice feeling. And finally, our spring general membership meeting is going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. And of course, you're all invited.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything? Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. There are several items on there. The last item being one that is just over budget, over what needs to be approved by the board. over 5,000. So you did have a agenda item for that on there, in our packet. But we're going to approve it in the consent agenda. Is there anybody that wants to make any changes to the consent agenda?
I would move that we approve it as presented.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? It passes. Library statistics.
I have some comments from the staff. From the head of Children's and Teen Services, we had over 100 people at the library's matinee showing of Big Hero 6, which was part of the Spring Break Clarkston Style program. And we are seeing continued growth in all storytime sessions, as well as our recently added music and movement program, so we're excited about that. From the head of circulation IT coordinator, as previously reported, we received a last-minute notification from the IRS that budgets had been cut and libraries would be getting only a very minimal number of printed tax forms. To this end, we created a self-service tax form computer kiosk in the library's lobby, which linked directly to the copy machine to assist patrons in printing forms that they needed. We received a great deal of positive feedback for providing this service, and so he wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it was really well received.
Terrific solution.
It solved a lot of problems, and I think it lowered the stress of the staff, because people come in, they're stressed, they can't get the forms they need, and it was so much easier to just say, no, just step up to this kiosk and we'll help you get them printed right away. So that worked out really well. I think we're going to make sure to do that again next year. From the head of adult services, as he's reported in the past couple of months, he has split out the classic books to assist students in their curricular assignments, and the classic books checked out from January to March was up to 286, so that collection is being used more than it had been in the past, and he's very pleased about that. The Lucky Day books, that's our collection that are the best sellers that you can just come in and pick up whatever's available. You check out, you don't have to wait on the hold list, and if you happen to be here, you get that book that day. That's a new service that we started offering, and people are really liking that as well. Checked out since from February to March, 153 titles have gone out, and there are currently 39 titles in that collection, and he adds about 20 per month, so that's a really neat service as well. And then the classic movies, he pulled the classic movies out, and in the last 3 weeks, 103 of those have gone out because people were saying that they were having trouble finding those particular items. So from the circulation statistics and all of that, we have the February, because we didn't have the February statistics. Your meeting was so early, we hadn't finished finished pulling that up. Yep. So February is in there, March is in there, and then there's the the compilation that goes month by month and adds that in. And then the last thing that Lawrence wanted to point out was our Family Craft Night programs have really caught on. This month the project was Fairy Gardens. The class was full, and the work that was produced was really creative, and Beth, who did the program, gave me some pictures to pass down so that you could see that they're really, really cute. People had a great time with that. So
That is super.
that was really neat.
I like that the classic books and movies have been
Separated out.
circulated, and if they're separated out,
Great.
they're more accessible. I also like the Lucky Day books thing.
That is kind of fun, just to
It
see
is
what's
kind of
there.
fun.
Yeah.
To put your name on the list and be 9 down on the list, and then come in and actually find it on the shelf. So that is good.
So that's working out really, really well for us as well.
Super. On your director's report.
For the director's report, general information, the Clarkston Independence District Library has won the Clarkston Community Awards for Community Enhancement. We're very excited about that. The Friends of the Library have purchased a number of tickets so that the library board, staff, and friends may attend the breakfast on Tuesday, May 19th at the Clarkston Community Church, honoring this year's collection of awardees. So I do have tickets if any of the library board members would like to attend, and we'll make sure that you get to be there.
Which we appreciate the Friends doing that.
Yes,
So it was very nice of the Friends to do that. In January, the library offered our second annual knitting and crocheting challenge that invited stitchers to create a project to display in the library. This year's project was a snuggle, which is a blanket for homeless cat or dog. These projects were collected, displayed, and donated to the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center out on Brown Road. We received 88 projects this year. We thought it was 66, and then when we started really counting to put them in the bins to send over to the shelter, there were 88 of them. We had them hanging in the library. So that was really fun, and I think people liked that.
It was neat to see them hanging out
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
It was fun, and it was for a good
Yeah.
cause, which was really nice.
We have some staff members that are planning the next one, and they think that they've got a couple different ideas, but I think we're going to do mittens in the fall for Lighthouse by Christmas time. There's just a couple things that they've got in the works, but the snuggle thing was really popular, so we're thinking maybe after Christmas we'll do this one again too. It's not a lot of work for the staff, and the public loves it. So. Finance, the field work for the library's 2014 audit was completed in March. We are currently waiting for information regarding OPEB from the township that must be included in the report. For building and grounds, the lighting project that was approved at the February meeting has been completed, and I should have elaborated that was the circulation lighting project to brighten up that desk. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a little bit more like a stage. It's much brighter now, but they can see what they're doing, which they're very pleased about. The water softener replacement project was supposed to be scheduled for last week, but an emergency repair for another organization postponed our project. We are hopeful that it will be scheduled for this week, but it's still in the works. Collaborations and projects, as Marian mentioned, the Friends of the Library will be hosting their spring book sale on April 29th through May 2nd with the Friends members only preview on Tuesday, April 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. Next item, the Detroit Institute of Arts is sponsoring an Oakland County Day on Saturday, May 9th. This is an opportunity for residents throughout the county to enjoy a free ride to the DIA. Our library is once again a pickup point. People wishing to take advantage of the opportunity need to register with the DIA by calling 313-833-4005 or register online at tickets.dia.org. The bus will leave our library at 9:30 a.m. and then depart the museum at 2 p.m. So that's a really neat program. As discussed previously, the Local Arts Council applied to the DIA Inside Out program, in which reproductions of art are placed in outside venues around town. Clarkston has been selected as a DIA Inside Out town for the summer season from August to October. The library was asked if we would be interested in being a location of a piece of art. We expressed interest and are waiting to hear if we made the list of final locations, and we should find out in May.
That's exciting.
Fingers are crossed.
That's very exciting.
When it came the last time, we didn't get an opportunity to have a piece, so I've been
Hopefully we will this time.
I've been asking more frequently this time, yeah, so my fingers are crossed.
Yeah, it would be nice.
To call it our turn now.
So we would love to do that. We have two pieces of correspondence. We have a thank you letter from Jean Molson that I will pass down for everyone to read, and then we also have the letter from Pastor Greg Henneman, who is the person on the Clarkston Community Awards committee that notifies award winners. So these are the two letters that came as correspondence. And that's everything I have in my report.
On to our regular business. The first being the proposal to improve the exterior lighting. I actually read up on different bulbs. That's just to see. There's a lot of information in the packet on the bulbs.
It really is.
Different things like that. And then looking at the parking lot, I guess what we really need to make a decision is, do we want to do the one LED right now and then see how it works and work on more of the HID, or just to replace the HID bulb? Or do we want them to go ahead and replace that one bulb with the HID bulb right now? Basically, that's the question, right?
And the reason there are the two quotes, the second quote, what the board requested from Allied was an estimate for how much money could be saved. There's not a lot of cost savings for one fixture.
Yeah, right. And I was kind of, I looked at that and I went, oh, well, that's a lot more money to spend for comparatively small savings.
Mm-hmm. So that was one of the things that I had them pull together was if we were to do all of the walkway lighting, and basically what the board had said was, well, if we like this, we might do some other bulbs in the area. And so I broke it down by the parking lot lights face down, so that would be a completely different fixture. So I only had them bid out on the ones that are short, that would benefit from being a 360-degree lighting pattern, which means there are 8 that go from the back door where the staff comes and goes all the way around the front of the building. There are 2 short poles in the driveway. Did not count those though because they point down. But it would include all the ones in the island, and then all the ones along the walkway. So.
Because I didn't come here at nighttime and didn't look, are any of them completely out right now?
I don't think so.
No.
No, and the bulbs can be replaced, it's just a matter of, this was the solution for trying to brighten up that stairway because it's too dark.
It is
as you
very
Yes.
dark on the stairways
Yes.
at night.
Mhm.
And that was really what started the whole thing, was just that one spot.
And then we
Right.
kind of got hung up in, well, do we want an HID or do we want an
Right.
LED? We
LED.
didn't, once you put the bulb in, then you're setting that precedent for, okay, do we want them all to be HID or do we want them all to be LED? So that's where we got into sort of the grander discussion of what to do about that.
Right.
Do we really set a precedent, though? I mean, if we like the LED there, but
Not
leave
necessarily.
them quite so brighter on the other spots, we could still keep the other spots that way for cost when it comes necessary.
Definitely, I think you could go either way. But in order to give you what the cost savings would be, they basically said you'd have to have a lot more fixtures.
Right, yeah, 'cause otherwise
in
it
order
was
to see
like-
the cost savings.
Okay.
So if you were looking at LED and saying, oh, yes, we should go with LED because it's going to be so much of a cost savings, one lamp isn't going to do it. So.
No.
And I asked if it was brighter, and they said the LED is not any brighter. It's just a different type of light.
What's the replacement life of the HID versus the LED?
They are saying that the LED lights last significantly longer. You put in there that there's a 5-year warranty. It's not so much with the LED that you're changing out the bulbs. With the HID, you're changing out bulbs. It would be traditional like we do these other ones. Whereas the LED, it's the whole piece that's inside of it. It's not like screwing a bulb in and out. So.
Because I mean, thinking that could even be a soft cost saving, which would be, you don't have somebody changing
Yeah.
the light bulb as frequently. That in itself is
Yes.
something that they're not, I don't
Yeah.
think that that's calculated in here, but I think that's something
I
personal.
think I'm tending to go with what we have.
With the HID? Okay.
Well, I was disappointed that it wasn't much more of a cost savings, so I don't know. I mean, and you're right, Allison, but I don't know even with the existing bulbs how often they need to be changed.
It's a significant cost difference. It's
Right, I mean, if it
of
was
the actual lamp.
$100 more, and you would be saving that, but
It's closer
I'm
to
not
1,000.
sure that over the life of the bulb, you're saving enough more to really make
Right.
up for that extra cost.
Right,
I'm torn, too.
$1,000.
Yeah, I'm torn.
Yeah,
Have the extra.
So-
It's $865.
I mean, and if it's not brighter, if it's not that it's going to vastly improve one over the other, then I'm inclined to spend the less.
the less
and-
expensive.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel too.
Well, to be honest, when I brought it to you, and I was unprepared to answer the questions about the LED because I just assumed we'd probably go with the less expensive option, and so I didn't ask more questions, and I should have, so that was my own.
Well, because sometimes there's a very significant cost savings, but this just didn't appear to be.
I think it was wise to get more information.
I absolutely
wasn't here
agree.
at the last meeting for the discussion.
I absolutely
but
agree.
think it's still
But
good to have.
but I didn't think about it at the time because it was, the cost difference was so much, and it was
Yeah.
just one lamp, and I thought, well, I guess I'm so used to opting for the cheapest option.
Which is not in and of itself a horrible thing,
No, it's
except
not.
that sometimes that does.
Sometimes it's not worth it to go cheap.
Exactly.
Right.
But I think
Absolutely.
this time it seems okay.
And we're not stuck with it.
Oh,
You know,
no.
we're
No,
just
we can
gonna-
always later say, oh, we want a different kind of, because
Yeah.
it's not such a
The pole
huge
will
outlay
still-
of.
The poles can still be used
Yeah.
later. if we-
Part of my hesitation is the fact that we're doing this in the first step of trying to brighten up that area. The actual problem we're trying to solve is that it's not bright enough. Not that there's anything wrong with the lamps themselves.
Right.
And my worry is that what we're going to end up doing is finding out that it's still not going to be bright enough, and what we actually need to do is not change out all these lamps, but install additional lights.
Right.
Lights.
So-
Which is a completely
Yeah.
different solution. We're hoping this would be a solution. It would be a fairly low cost, fairly easy,
Right.
efficient way to get it done, but we may discover that it's still not bright enough.
And we still have to do something
And then we
additional.
would still need to do something in
Yeah.
addition, which is the other reason I was leaning toward the less expensive
Yeah.
option, because I'm not 100% convinced that this will do exactly what we need it to do. I'm hopeful.
We won't have to go. If there's no further discussion, can we have a motion in this? We'll need to specify the type of bulb and the cost being for the HID $1,820. And if we choose the LED, we add $885 to that.
Right.
So
So anyone would like to make a motion on this?
Okay, well,
I just want to find that. What's that, then if we do the HID, what is the cost? It's
1,820.
18. Then I recommend that we approve the proposal to improve the exterior lighting through Allied Building Services as presented, opting for the HID option and authorize the transfer of $1,820 from undesignated revenue to the building line items, $975, to cover the cost.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We will replace it with an HID, the cost of $1,820.
And next month you won't have this big, thick packet of lighting.
Of lighting.
But it was informational, and
Yeah,
I
right.
learned more about
I stood at Home Depot and found out light bulbs
even
for a long time. It's very confusing to buy a light.
You had
It is
no idea what
anymore.
you were going to learn by being part of the library board.
Right.
Yes, that's the truth.
Okay, our next agenda item number 2 under regular business, review and approval of the quote for the lawn mowing service. And this would be $18 per hour per person.
This is essentially the same quote that we got last year. Independence Township DPW has been responsible for mowing the library's lawn for many years. DPW Director Linda Richardson has presented a quote for lawn care service for the library for the 25th season that is the same as 2014. The quote is the hourly pay rate of the worker is $11.50 plus a small additional fee, $6.50 per hour, to cover gas and equipment maintenance. The DPW would put the library on their regular weekly mowing schedule. Additional one-time lawn work such as sidewalk edging prior to the garden walk could be done upon request and would be billed at the same rate of $18 per hour per worker. This has been extraordinarily economical in terms of the size of the property and how quickly they mow and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's nice to just be on their routine schedule. And
It is.
This potentially might be the last year we have this opportunity. The township is in the process of hiring a new DPW director. Linda Richardson is retiring. And the new director may come in and feel differently about how he does lawn mowing throughout the township, or how he feels about sort of outsourcing that or picking up extra projects. So this may be the last time.
I would move that we approve the lawn mowing contract submitted by the Independence Township DPW as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Now, we need to have a discussion of the library parking lot, which has had much discussion among the public, I guess, and any of us that use the parking.
The first piece I want people to know is that we have had it cold patched. I just had it cold patched 3 weeks ago. And because of the freeze thaw, I broke it all out again. And we just had it done. So I did actually call to have him cold patch again because the potholes are pretty sizable. And he emailed me back and he said they're about to open the hot patching, the plant
Very close to it.
they're probably later this week, and he was not inclined to cold patch. He was inclined to do hot asphalt to do repairs.
It will last a
However,
bit longer.
we are in the process of doing this discussion about the parking lot as a whole. So I guess question number 1 is how you feel about allowing him to go ahead and just do hot patch to get us through, because it's going to take us a little time to determine and bid out, and we can't leave it like it is. So my inclination would be to email him and say, yes, please do some temporary asphalt patching to buy us enough time to decide the bigger project and get it bid out properly, because it is a big project, and then bring it in and have it repaired on a grander scale.
We can't leave it like it is.
I guess we just have to.
Right.
It seems like throwing money away, but we
I
have to.
don't know that, but I wanted to have the discussion openly so that people know, yes, I've had it cold patched. It
Right.
just won't stick. The
The
parking
same
lot
thing
is
happened
in
to our
such
road.
disrepair.
They cold patched it, and then
Right.
2 days later.
It was,
all-
yep.
Yeah.
The cold patch is only ever meant to be very, very temporary because you can't keep the asphalt hot enough
Yep,
to do a better patch in the really cold months.
absolutely.
And like you said, it takes a while for quotes. Everybody wants their project done
Yes.
now, so it's going to
Yep.
be, we're going to get on
I
the
think,
list.
we have to do safety first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing for safety.
Okay. So that's actually within the budget. I can go ahead and get that done, but I wanted to openly have this discussion so that people don't think it's not that we're not doing it. We are doing it. It's that unfortunately, it's in such disrepair that cold patch won't even hold anymore. The potholes are just too big. There's just,
It needs
Yeah.
something to hold on to.
yep.
We do not need a motion for that, do we? Because it's. in the
No,
budget.
it's already in, but I wanted to have that conversation because I've been trying to finagle having it done again. And he's holding off and saying, no, if you wait a couple of days, I'll do hot patch and it'll hold better. So I'm inclined to tell him yes, but I wanted to have the conversation openly.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay, so piece number 2, which is the larger project at hand. What you have in your packet is information from Hubble, Roth, and Clark. They are the civil engineers that in 2012 the township hired to assess the parking lot. The first portion of this packet is the proposal of what HRC would do as consulting engineers. And their tasks were broken down, I believe, into 9 parts. Of these 9 parts, at one point the township did authorize them to do 1 through 6, but what really ended up happening is the project changed and they only did tasks 1 and 2, which is the assessment and a report of what needed to happen. So what you have in the second section of your packet, which I believe starts on, which is 4 pages in, it's the 5th page in, is an explanation of what they did for task 1, which was assess the condition of the existing parking lot. And then task 2, which was develop a recommendation for optimum repair replacement program. And what they did was they presented what the 3 options were. Option number 1, mill and overlay. Option number 2, pulverize and repave. Option number 3, complete pavement removal and replacement. Their assessment of what they thought should be done, which was option number 2, not option number 3, pulverize and repave. And then they did provide a cost estimate
At that time.
at that time, from 2 years ago, which is not going to be an accurate estimate as of today, but it at least gives you a listing, gives us a listing of what they thought in terms of amount of yardage and that sort of thing.
Does the time lapse between when this was done change whether or not that's an effective option, the pulverizing?
Potentially.
I'm wondering if we still are going to have task 1 and 2 redone.
We very well may need
Based
to
on
do that.
3 more years of wear and.
Right,
2
that's my
extreme
concern.
winters.
I don't know, I'm not that familiar with the pulverize and repair option. I don't know if it has to have a certain, it seems to me like there'd have to be a certain condition that it's not any worse than to make that a viable option. So we may need to go back to.
The other piece of that is our original plan, and it does say very clearly in this assessment that the worst of it is the driveway from the road all the way down to the end, which I've talked to other contractors since this who have said the same thing. You absolutely positively need to do the driveway all the way down to the end, and the rest of the parking lot could be negotiated, done in separate parts. We put $50,000 into the budget in order to deal with that piece, but the big question that's sitting on the table is, what do we want to do? Do we want to rip it out and replace it, or do we want to pulverize it and repave it?
So
And then do we-
if we set out a bid, could we ask for 2 bids from each contractor or something
We could
like that?
potentially do that. We could potentially bring in the civil engineers again and have them reassess it.
Yeah, that may
Why I'm
not
looking
be
for direction.
a bad idea, just because if it had been a year ago,
We have had 2 worse winters
Yeah.
since then.
Absolutely.
and because it's in the condition it's in, the base coat may have further deteriorated than what it was 3 years ago, because it's easier for water and ice to get into the base if there are cracks and holes in the top.
And if that had happened, then we would have to go to the option 3
That's right.
completely replace instead of the
Right.
pulverize and replace.
No, and then the next question, of course, becomes, do we do it in stages, or do we do the whole lot at once to eliminate a seam, which is always a point at which damage is going to more easily occur?
And how do we fit it into the budget?
Right.
Do,
I mean, there's a lot of
how much?
issues.
I think I would like to see a cost for both pulverizing and replacement, each of those options, and then also split up to partial and full. So basically, you would be looking at 4 different things: pulverize and repair partial, pulverize and repair full, and replace partial and then replace full.
Okay,
Is that too much to ask a contractor to?
probably. They have a lot of work that they're
I'm
getting.
thinking
Mhm.
that sounds overwhelming for a bid, though. and that's
This
why.
is probably the point at which we may want to call the consulting engineers and have them come back in and give us some additional guidance.
Yeah, because if they're going to say pulverize and repair is still a good option,
We move forward.
Then we can skip over.
That we can just ask,
right.
we can make.
But there's no
We're
reason,
still gonna have to
a
have
contractor who wants the job should be happy to bid it out as a partial and as a full, because that's just,
Yes.
that's simple mathematics.
But they don't want to, they're not going to want to do 4
First.
different options.
Right.
No,
They've
that's
got
a
a
lot.
lot of other people who
Then that
have
would
bigger
just be 2.
projects that they're going to want to
Right.
do those first.
Right.
So if we make it too complicated,
Yeah.
it's just going to slow us down, and I think we need to.
Yeah, but if the engineer comes in and says, oh yeah, that'll still work, if there's no additional damage that would keep that from working, I mean, to me, it would seem, they're still talking about a fairly long life expectancy for the pavement on the pulverize and repair.
There
So
wasn't a whole lot of difference between that and fully replaced.
no, so, it would seem that that would be one of those times where doing the, again, because of the reason that they said that you're not getting a lot of heavy equipment, driving back and forth, it's a parking lot for a library. So you're not getting, construction vehicles and, you're getting somebody to come in and empty dumpsters, but that's not happening on a daily basis, and,
The interesting thing, as I was reading this, I was thinking, actually, the only place where we get heavy equipment is down the driveway and either on the north side or the south side of the island and around the back. That's the only portion. So if we were
Right.
to do something maybe more heavy duty in that area, we could probably get away with doing something more standard in the rest of the parking
Yeah.
lot, because that tends to be more cars and things like
And
that.
at a later date, maybe.
Mhm. So-
But having them reassess, I think, will really help us.
I think it will too,
I think
because
it
it's been
would,
too much of a time.
Have them complete the task 1 and 2, and then also if they could give us an updated of their costs.
Okay, so we want to
For
see an
their
update.
portion of it. Plus, in that same proposal, then they would give us an estimate as they did before.
Right.
What the total cost might be.
Okay, so you want to see an update from HRC, an estimate of the costs, and what the parking lot looks like. So basically, what tasks 1 and 2 again? Okay.
So,
And then what we need to do from that point, once we've got an assessment on the amount of money that we think it will cost, then I can bring you the budget and we can start playing with the numbers if we have some idea. Mhm. Maybe I can have them assess the parts that they think are the worst. If we want to do this as a partial project, they can probably say, you should do all the way down to the end of the driveway and around the island, or they can probably break it down and say, where would the seam be least detrimental?
Yes,
And
because
still
that's,
get the portion done that needs to be done first. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
a little bit optimistic to try to do the whole thing. Although it's a huge project, it really
It
is.
is.
Yeah, it is
Really is,
huge. And
we just don't see how we could.
So, okay.
and then do we want them also to provide their costs for the construction engineering, which would be some of those other tasks? Not to perform those tasks now, but to tell us what their rates are going to be.
Because they have their
Because-
summary there, and I
Right.
think their rates may have changed.
Yeah, they probably have.
Most of them were $100 an hour,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. And, I mean, and
Maybe we'll be
we obviously
pleasantly
need
surprised.
a supervising engineer, since none of us are supervising engineers.
Well, we certainly want to do it right this time.
Yeah.
The engineer that was here commented that some portions of the parking lot were better than others, that maybe it hadn't been supervised to the level that it could have been when it was installed. Although the engineer that came in was really impressed that it had lasted as long as it had, given some of the areas that were maybe not as thick as they should be. So apparently we're not too hard on our parking lot. It just, we let it go too long before we
Yeah.
could do anything. Probably shouldn't have money to do before.
All right.
Okay.
Do we don't really need a proposal then, or a
You
motion? for
probably
this?
should make a motion. Let me just look really quickly and see what the initial costs were.
Initial cost
For their
those two
task one and
tasks.
I
task
probably need a budget for-
1,600, so
It's under the-
we don't need a
5,000.
motion.
The other one was.
This is not something that would be a budgeted item. I believe I did include some additional funds in the contract services line item, knowing that we had some projects like this coming. So I can accommodate it in what's in the budget.
Okay.
But it is not technically a budgeted item. So I guess what I would look for is a motion that allows me to spend up to a certain amount on this,
Okay.
at least on tasks 1 and 2.
I move to spend up to 2,500, because it looks like it's 800, it was 800
It
each,
was,
right?
yeah.
So
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
figure it's at least 1,600, so 2,000?
Yeah.
2,000?
2,000.
Up to $2,000 to get a task 1 and task 2 from Hubble, Rock, and Clark,
Okay.
please.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
I will get on that right away.
Great, thank you very much.
$2,500. Our last item on there is set the date for budget workshop. How soon should we be doing this?
The suggestion was probably before the next meeting,
Before the
which
next
is in
meeting.
May 11th is the next meeting.
Okay.
I have the calendar set here.
Go with
Have
our
input.
Monday thing.
And this would be in the little room.
And the earliest for you, Allison, is 5?
Yeah,
Okay.
I could do 4:30 if I really...
We don't want to push you.
Thanks.
To breathe.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
Anyone have a suggestion?
you could do Monday the 20th, you could do Monday the 27th, you could do
The 20th.
the May dates.
Monday, the 27th is,
That's kind of bad for me.
okay.
How about the
that's
20th?
best one for me.
20th.
I could possibly, I'm supposed to be someplace
That's
until
next-
6.
that's
I
week from today.
could, the 27th. The 20th is, I have a,
Or May 4th?
Where do you have to be? What, do you have to leave early, is that it? You have to
I
leave-
would have to leave early, and I don't know if,
I can be here at 4:30.
okay, well, no, I'm supposed to be someplace else until
Oh,
6.
excuse me.
So I would have to leave
misunderstood.
there early.
Is the
So,
20th any?
Could it be a Tuesday?
the 20th, yeah, my whole afternoon is free on the 20th.
How about the 20th, which is next Monday?
Yeah.
Or could it be a Tuesday night if that would be better?
Did you say Tuesday?
I say, could it be a Tuesday night if that would work better for people?
It's okay with me.
All of my Tuesdays appear to be open. I don't know how that ever happened.
So we like Tuesday better? Okay, hang on, let me just
Can
make
we
sure.
check
that-
Tuesday, the 28th then, because Tuesday, the 21st is not good. for me.
Tuesday, the 28th is the book sale preview, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So we don't want to do
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
so not that
That
week.
wouldn't work.
How about
The
the
Monday would
21st?
be okay, but the 28th.
Maybe the next week.
Okay. Is
The first
Sally,
week-
is Tuesday a better day for you than Monday?
Well, because I have Bible study every Monday. But you were talking about other conflicts, so I was just wondering
Yeah.
if Tuesday would be
No.
better. But
If
not
you-
that, not the book sale.
No.
If you
but-
wanted to do the first week of May,
Tuesday, May 5th.
That's the election, and so we have an election in this room, and we have a program in the other
How
room.
about Monday,
Okay.
May 4th?
Why don't we do
Monday, May
Tuesday?
4th is good.
Okay, I can do Monday, May 4th.
That one I can't, I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
We can go back to Tuesday, the 21st.
Okay.
I'm assuming this won't be an extremely long.
No,
meeting,
I don't
just
think so.
Maybe an hour or something like that.
Maybe that would work better for
I won't
everyone.
be able to be there, but
Well, but you're going
I have
to
the
have to
surgery.
go
I have
a ways
surgery.
away, yeah.
Oh, dear.
for your surgery.
It would.
That is your day
It
of
either has to
surgery.
be the day before or.
That is your day of surgery, you're right. So it would
Okay,
have
back
to
it
be
up to Monday, the 20th. What time do you have to be? Where do you have to be?
Sally needs to be somewhere.
Oh, it's 7. I mean, if we met.
Oh, if we have a
Oh,
5,
we would
could
be done
do Monday
before,
the
we would be
20th
done
then?
before 7.
Oh,
We would
sure.
absolutely be done before 7. If we start
Monday
at
the-
5.
And you could choose
It won't
when
even
you
be as
wanna
long
come
as
or
this.
not.
I was
Monday,
probably an hour. What do
that
you
Monday
think?
would be all right.
Monday the 20th?
Monday the 20th?
Okay.
Jan, can you make it?
Yes, I can. I'm not sure, I'm having a medical thing done earlier in the day, not sure how I'll feel, but I should be all right. It shouldn't be, that's enough of a time lapse between the two things, and if it's really horrible, I'll just call Julie and say, sorry, I'm not coming. But I should be able to.
So Monday, May 20th.
Monday, April 20th?
Or April.
Yeah.
Yep, April 20th at 5 PM.
It's a week from today.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, in the small room.
In this moment?
Okay.
We'll take your mind off your surgery.
Yes.
We need to move it.
Fill it with
Motion for
numbers.
that?
Won't be able to eat or drink anything.
I did put it in here. I don't know that it's absolutely necessary, but we might as well do that.
Okay, I move to have our budget workshop on Monday, April 20th at 5 PM. It'll be in the little room, and posted as indicated by the Open Meetings Act.
All in favor?
There was a second.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Mary, are you the second?
I'll second.
Right. Now all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Will be Monday, April 20th at 5 o'clock. Okay. And if there's no more business, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We will adjourn at 6:15.